Very professional performance from us. Very disciplined. We had a job to do to come here, and that was to get the points, and we did that.
The challenge of taking on a side who have just sacked their coach, what are the unique challenges of that?
Yeah, that always makes it difficult and puts you in a place of a bit of unknown because you're not sure are they going to make changes, which they ended up doing. They changed their structure and formation, and obviously players as well. So you prepare with a little bit of unknown, but in terms of us and our own processes, we're set up to be able to deal with, if we're playing against a back five, a back four. So we spoke about that before the game. There might be changes. What we've worked on during the week might be different when we get out there, and if it is, deal with it. And we did that.
And the mindset after last week's result, can you give us an insight into the hunger of the group during the week and what did you make of their response tonight?
Yeah, today was about a reaction, a response, and it was a positive one. And they had to show discipline as a group and togetherness, and we showed that. And we had some key moments apart from the goals where the keepers made two unbelievable saves to keep them in the match. So that was impressive for me that we could be structured and disciplined, and we gave them a little bit more ball than we probably give most teams. But we set up in our block there to make it difficult for them to play through, and I think that came off.
And One's first start tonight, what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, very good. We, like I've been saying previously, it's probably ahead of schedule to where I would have anticipated he'd be. After joining us so late, and to get almost 70 minutes out of him today is a testament to him, how professional he is, how fit he is, and how conditioned he is. And he did a lot of work on himself before joining the group, so that allowed us to maybe fast track him into the starting lineup like we did tonight, and scores a great goal, and that's probably the difference in the match.
For him to score a goal so early in the season after such limited opportunities last season, what do you think that does for his confidence and just going forward? How crucial would that be?
Yeah, I don't think he lacks confidence. He enjoys playing football. He loves playing football, and we want to provide an environment for him to enjoy his football and to contribute to the team. And you saw tonight it wasn't just his goal or his touches on the ball; it was his work rate as well. And he worked really hard, and that shows he's a team player. It's not about himself, and that's the key.
Is the plan to get him to become a 90-minute player, or would you be happy if he can give you a solid 70 minutes every game?
I think every player's got to have in their head to be able to condition themselves to play 90 minutes every week. It's game by game. Some players, can get through matches consistently in 90 minutes. A lot of players, especially in the front third of teams where most substitutes are made, they don't get 90 minutes, and it's not because they can't run out of game or they're not fit. It's most changes you see are normally in the front third, and it makes it difficult for players to think about playing 90 minutes. They just got to know that whether they're on for 5, 10, 50 or 90 minutes, they contribute and do a job.
You mentioned the block you guys played early. There were a lot of times where Glory found it really tough to play out from the back, particularly in the first half. The way you guys were pressing, just forcing kind of up the line and back, up the line and back. How happy were you with that side of the game?
Yeah, really happy. The clean sheet for me is more important than the 2 goals because last week was a slap in the face to us that we didn't like, and the response was impressive, and that was a clean sheet. And when you do that, we've always got the quality to score goals, so we know that. And in the end, that's the difference. We were disciplined, we were structured, and we did that for 90 minutes.
Nicholas Vergos, he didn't score, but he had some really nice moments in build-up play. Obviously, Bruno Fornaroli, no longer at the club, but he was one of the great back-to-goal strikers the A-League's seen. How important is it to have someone like Nicholas who can hold the ball up and play bounce passes, turn, go?
Nico's a fantastic footballer, and I feel for Nico tonight because he's done everything well and everything right, and there's 2 saves that the keeper makes. That on another day, Nico's probably got 2 goals tonight, but his overall contribution to the team and the match is what's impressive, and that's what makes Nico the player that he is. Now we want him to get more goals, absolutely, but in the end, I've always said it doesn't matter where the goals come from. All our attacking players need to score goals. I'm so happy for Keegan Yelich scoring 2 goals back to back in 2 matches. A player that's got a lot of ability, and we want to see him scoring more goals than he's ever scored before. And there's a lot of players that have to contribute. It's not just our striker, although yes, you want your striker scoring, But yeah, as you saw tonight, he's done a fantastic job in his all-round game and set the platform for us.
Josh Rawlins mentioned in the build-up to the game, coming back to WA, was a big fixture for him. He's 90 minutes under the belt, playing at centre-back. Clean sheet, to your point, just as important as getting the goals. How did you rate his performance stepping into today?
Yeah, Joshy was great. The whole back four and the whole team defended really well. That's for me, when you keep a clean sheet, it's not about the back four and the keeper being solid. It's about how you defend as a unit, and that's really important for us. Our connection with and without the ball, and making sure that we're always working hard for each other. And he did his job as expected. But in the end, we finished that game with a lot of young bodies out in the park. We put a lot of young boys on to finish that match and close it out. Young Oli Dragicevic, he's just turned 18. Xavier Stella, they're babies. And we don't get the recognition that a lot of teams get because of Melbourne victory. You see the amount of young players that we had out there. We had 10 players under 23 in our squad. And that's something that I think gets missed a lot. And I'm so proud of those young players who are getting an opportunity at the moment that, there's many players out and we get to give them exposure, but they're standing up and they're doing a job. And that's really impressive for us to show our depth moving forward and also to show that they've got quality as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.